Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch is an extraordinary Breguet 3355 Tourbillon Skelette. The watch in my hand representing the best of all possible worlds. Small, fine, and linked to multiple métiers d'art. The timepiece also incorporates a classical Breguet complication in a size anyone can wear. So, 35 millimeters in diameter if you measure it at the case band. If you measure it at the flange, the bezel from side to side, a still compact 36.1 millimeters. I told you it was compact. 9.4 millimeters thick. It's 43.1 from lug tip to lug tip with an 18 millimeter spacing between the lugs. I'll throw this watch on my wrist, and it wears nicely. As you can see, it is a descendant of the 3350 that was created under Daniel Leroth when he designed Breguet watches, and actually has a Le Mans 387-based tourbillon movement base caliber that he also helped to design. So you can see it'll fit easily under a cuff, and on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, it will fit easily. So I would say first, let the strap break in a little bit. It's super tight and I'm pulling it tight. But once it loosens up, you'll be able to wear this on a wrist as small as 14, maybe even 13.5 centimeters circumference. And again, that's just down to the stiffness of the strap. The strap is a lovely piece though. You're certainly not being shorted the leather. It is a Breguet factory strap. You can see it's got large rectangular symmetrical scales, always indicative of high quality and expensive cut of the animal. Semi-gloss finish black. You can see there's a monotone stitch. The edges are actually folded and wrapped rather than sheer cut. On the bottom, you can see calf skin, no crimping, no gouging. Excellent condition on both sides. Platinum watch with a platinum clasp. And it's a friction fit system that snaps shut. Looking at the lugs now, Breguet did not pinch pennies. We have screws and bars fixing the strap to the case, and so much more secure and less prone to disaster than spring bars. It costs a bit more money, but it is the only way to do a watch like this. You can also see screws and bars used to fix the strap to the buckle, so it's secure on both ends. The lugs are welded on. The way these cases were made is the lug would actually be inserted into the case and then welded. And then a file would be used to create this super sharp break between lug and case. Now, you can't do that if you're making a huge amount of watches, but if you're making a small number of exquisite watches, it becomes a lot more viable and allows you to get this super sharp break between the surfaces. We have a cold rolled case. These cases were cold rolled and finished in a jig to create this coining around the side. You can see there's a little notch for the watchmaker's case knife right there. That's what that is. And then we've got a more or less symmetrical front to back domed case back with a flange and a domed bezel with the flange. The crown, as you can see here, is Breguet branded. And if I do say so myself, it looks a little bit like the crown might be the one part of the watch that is made of white gold. You can see it has a distinctly darker tone to it. There's also a little kerf underneath that allows you to stick your nail in and pop it open so you can easily get your nail underneath the crown. And I appreciate that small piece of attention to detail that you can more easily insert your fingernail and then pop this open and get to work. Now, taking a look at the watch, the fun thing is you don't have to wear it upside down like you wish you could with your Longa. This is a watch that gives you all the excitement dial side. You've got the keyless works for operating the clutch system, winding and setting. You've got the motion works for moving the hands. You've got the tourbillon. And then you've got the barrel itself with a visible mainspring. And I wanted to show you the tourbillon before it was in motion so you could better appreciate the many details and how well everything is decorated. No part has been overlooked. They didn't look askance to a single detail, right down to the pieces in steel of the keyless works. You can see the springs, the levers, they've been setinated on their top, beveled on their edge. We have both blued screws and polished screws. You can see even elements like the minute wheel and the hour wheel have been individually engraved. And then we've got the tourbillon with a tri-spoke, and you can see this little sweep of 20 seconds. So it's a 1 minute tourbillon. It acts as the seconds hand of the watch. 2.5 hertz beat rate, so 18,000 vibrations per hour. We do have a Breguet style overcoil. So in every physical position, the centered mass of the overcoil will ensure the watch keeps very consistent time. That and the free sprung architecture, which allows timing to be set using pairs of screws on the balance, really account for the fine timing qualities of this watch even more than the tourbillon, which has chronometric purpose on a pocket watch, as originally conceived by Breguet himself, but no wristwatch at Tourbillon is primarily there for aesthetics and tradition. And you can see it is beautiful. The cage, the escapement, the balance, the hairspring, all of it mobile. And the idea was back in the pocket watch era, when the watch was more or less in this position in your pocket, the rotation of all these elements perpendicular to gravity would cancel out the effects of gravity. Today it's primarily for aesthetics. You can see that the dial has been cut away to the quintessence of dust. There's hardly anything left. We do have the distinctive Breguet style blued steel hands, and then everything that has been cut has also been engraved. And so you could see this beautiful bridge for the tourbillon. You could see the hour wheel, the minute wheel. You could see the periphery of the movement, and many different cuts. You could see this is caliber 558 SQ1, so it's based on the 558, which itself, I believe, is based on the Lemania 387. And you can see the individual number, and that the number has been freehand engraved. Take a look at all of these scrolls and volutes, and then you turn it over and it gets even better. There's almost nothing left of the bridges and plates here. You can see the movement is gorgeous from both sides, but you can appreciate it from the front, so you don't need to flip it over, but you'll want to because there's more to see. And the movement's actually fairly large, 29.9 millimeters, and it's got a surprisingly long 50-hour power reserve, given that tourbillon regulators are quite energy intensive. 30-meter watch water resistance is dress watch resistance. It means don't submerge it, but rain or splashes while washing your hands, those are just fine. The movement is simply gorgeous, and the more you look, the more you see. It's a relatively simple 21 joule affair, but what's here is sensitive to nuance. Only the finest watchmakers are qualified to even clean a watch like this, and this is the type of movement that's so delicate and special that when it goes back for service, they don't put it in a cleaning machine. They tend to hand clean these bridges. You can see we have sharp interior angles where bevels meet, and all of these structures have been beveled along their sides, so they're skeletonized and then internally beveled and externally beveled. We also have polished screw heads with chamfered slots and circumference. In other words, it's the best of all possible worlds. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details. Let's get a quick look at the motion works in action there.